This week on Machinery Pete TV, tillage equipment is on the auction block on this Missouri sale, including a beautifully restored International 720 plow. From pieces to near perfection, we'll learn about this 501 Workmaster. And Pete asks, how old does a tractor have to be an antique?
Your machinery is a serious investment and at the heart of every farming operation. Some call it a passion. We're Machinery Pete TV, and today we'll cover everything from auction roundups to the classics to the latest trends and technology. Machinery Pete, the most trusted name in farm equipment.
Machinery Pete thanks these premier sponsors for their support. Sullivan Auctioneers. Let our team of professionals show you how to make your auction a success. Visit sullivanauctioneers.com. Hey folks, welcome to Machinery Pete TV in Tarkio, Missouri this week. And it's an honor for me to be here for the Farm Retirement Auction for Mike and Krista Murphy. The Murphys have been subscribers to our Machinery Pete auction data for almost 25 years now, so really fun to be here today. And I tell you what, they got some really clean machinery, but before we watch it sell, we got to throw it back to the studio to get the latest farm equipment news from my good friend and 2019 NAFB Broadcaster of the Year, Clinton Griffiths.
Thanks, Greg. I'm Clinton Griffiths. Economic conditions continue to weigh on the minds of producers in the new Ag Barometer from Purdue University and CME Group. The nationwide survey of farmers and ranchers has a December index reading of 150, down slightly from November. Researchers say producers expressed less confidence about current economic conditions, with the index of current conditions dropping 12 points. The survey found some farms are carrying debt into the new year.
About 21% of the farms in our survey expect a larger operating loan, and 29% of those said it was because they were expected to carry over unpaid operating debt from 2019 into 2020. That means about 6% of the farms in our survey are going to carry over unpaid operating debt, and that's a clear sign that those farms are suffering significant financial stress.
In December, producers remained confident the trade war with China would be settled soon, with 54% expecting a quick resolution. The U.S. is preparing to welcome a Chinese delegation to the U.S. ahead of that Phase 1 trade deal signing. The trade delegation planning to travel to Washington on Monday. The South China Morning Post reporting the delegation will be led by Vice Premier Liu He. According to President Trump, the two sides are scheduled to sign that agreement on Wednesday at the White House, January 15th. Now, the president says he will begin Phase 2 talks later in Beijing. Cargill's releasing its results for the fiscal 2020 second quarter. It's reporting adjusted operating earnings were up 19% from last year. It says the rise is thanks to increases in its animal nutrition and protein sectors and in industrial and financial services. That's it for news. Now let's check on some recent auctions from around the country. Now back to Machinery Pete.
Well folks, I've seen a ton of plows sold at auction over the years, but I tell you what, stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss this one. This is the first International 720 I've ever seen sold that says it's restored.
Murphy, you have done anything that I've seen in my 43 years in the auction industry for maintenance and schedules on this and the way it is. You've done a great job. Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, folks, time for a Great Plains TurboMax 2400 24-foot to sell. Now, the last 8 I've seen at auction that range on prices. I've seen them go as high as $43,000 and as low as $25,850. But 5 of those 8 have sold between $32,000 and $35,500.
Yes, it has a 5 here, down 5. I'm the here, 5. E25, 22 today, take 5. Yep, 5 to here, 5, take 3. I'm 23, now 4. Yep, 4 to go to 4, 5. And now 30 to here, 5 to the 4 down, take 5. Yep, to the more to be here, 30 to here, 5. E25 to here, 30 to here, 5 $25,000 bill. Hey, I'll give you a little secret. 25,000 today or 55,000 tomorrow. Yep, up here, 5 here, up here, go down, take 5, down 5, down here, 5 here, 6 here, down 6, down 7, down 7, now 8, 28,000, now 8 here, down 9, get a 9, get a 9, 29, hang in there, 29, the 9, 9, down 30, I'm 30, 30,000, down 30, down 30, 30 pound to be at 30 here, 30 pound to be at 30 here, 30, I'm 29, take 5, 29, 5, that's 9 pound, 5 here, 5, down 30, hang in there, down 30, 30,000, down 5, down 3,500. Yep, 3 pound to be over here, 30,005. I'm 3 pound to be over here, 30,005. Here I have sold the unit to you for 30,000 even. Going to a good home, got a good buy.
Hey folks, I'm here with auctioneer Mark Younger. Mark, you are as connected as any auctioneer I know in the industry here. Now, what is your take as we finish up 2019 with used farm equipment values, demand for good used? What are you seeing and hearing out there?
Well, as we know, the economy in the farming industry right now, there's a lot of ifs and such, and like all of us, we have to believe in our leaders, and we do. And with that, the market industry right now on good, clean, usable equipment, what I see, if it's late model, low houred, and been well maintained, it's bringing a premium. It's a known fact in talking to some of my dealers, local dealers around the 4-state region. Increase in iron is going to happen again 2020 from 15 to 20%. And so if somebody can save 30 grand or 40 grand, why wouldn't you?
Right.
And so, but I look for good, used, clean equipment to stay a premium. And I believe, in down the line in the next 2 or 3 years, there'll be an adjustment on some of this newer iron. It's going to have to be, but the technology is still changing, quickly as far as, electronics and such like that, and that's always a high-end focus that costs to adapt your machine to. But again, if it's clean and taken care of, buy it. Save yourself some money.
Well, folks, I've been at this over 30 years now compiling auction prices, and I've seen over 1,000 international Harvester 720 plows sold, but I've never, until today, seen one that said it was restored. So this 518 plow here, Mike bought this thing years ago, just wanted it to look good and look like new. I think that says quite a lot about Mike Murphy.
Give me 26. 25, 2600. I'm going to pay you 6. Here, $2,600 bill. Sit here down, 7 here, 7. 27. I sit here down, 7 here, 7. I 26 here down, 7. I 26 here down, 7. Now here, 28 here, going to be 8. Here, 2,800. Here, 2,929. Get 9 to 29. Now pay. I'm here, here, pay. Get to that, hang in there. I'm here, pay. Get $2,000. Now 1, 3,100. Now 1. Get 1 to go over here. 131. $3,000 here. You'll scour the country to find another one. I have this house. Give me 31. You're close. You'll have far to go with it. 3,100. 31. I down here. Down here to 31. Down here. Down here. I have sold for $3,000.
Here are a few more items that sold on today's sale.
2,300, 2.5, now 3, 23, now 4, 24, yes or no, pull up, Rob, 1, 3, 4, sold, 2,300 on the bill. Yes, down to 6,300 I have, sold them more for 6,200 even, 875, that's not 1,875, this is 1,875, 875, I'm fine a minute here, 5,875, sold for 850, now remember me in the spring. I'm a pound on a bill. I need 9 to go, get a 9, what a 9 pound, what a 9, here to go, 9 here, 9 to go, get a 9. Sold that to you right there for 87.50. But I'm on fire number. Pound 250 I have. How about 2 in the back for 10,250 I have. 1 to pound 250 I have. Sold for $10,000 even. Right there, but I'm on fire number.
No other cornhead works like a Drago. or pays you back like one. Visit your Drago dealer and see how you can justify owning a Drago on ROI alone.
Your next piece of equipment is on MachineryPete.com. Search equipment from dealerships across the country to find what you're looking for. Only on MachineryPete.com.
Hey folks, I'm in Seneca, Kansas. You can see a very active day here. We have an open house, grand opening for a Heritage Tractor here in Seneca. I'm with Roger Todd, store manager. Now Roger, your family and this location here in Seneca, you go back, what, to the early 50s?
Correct, 1952, yes.
Your father, what was your father's name?
Dwayne Todd, yep.
Did I understand that right? Was he a John Deere Territory?
He was actually a territory manager from 49 to 50, and then he moved here in 1950 and was partners with Tom McKinney for a couple of years, and then he bought full ownership.
And that was Todd Tractor Company?
Todd Tractor Company, yep.
And you guys were down on Main Street here in Seneca.
Uh-huh.
The old Main Street dealership back in the day.
Right next to the movie theater, yep.
There you go. So when did you guys move to this location?
1967, Dad built this facility right on the highway.
And now as you've, seen all the changes in farming and the farm equipment business, how would you describe rolling with those changes over the years from that Main Street dealership to the big, huge combines and tractors of today?
In order to be successful, you have to grow with the times and keep up with the technology. And if you don't do that, when AMS came out in 97, 98, we quickly adopted that, and we were good at it, and our customers, trusted us, and that helped us grow. Now my son's stepping in that department, and that's really what's driving this whole business.
The future, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, truly partnering with your customers, aren't you, to help them be better like this?
That's exactly right, exactly.
What kind of mix of agriculture do we have here?
That's what made this store so successful, the great diversity in this area. We have, hogs, cattle, dairy cattle, rural crop, of course. So the diversity of this county, surrounding counties, is great, and that's what allowed us to be here for 67 years, and it's growing now too, even. So. Okay.
And Raj, one last question: What excites you about the business looking forward the next 5-10 years?
It's really working with the people and being involved with their operations, and both of us growing together. That's what excites me.
Welcome back to Tractor Tales, folks. This week we're in sunny southern Georgia, and we're here visiting a collector who has green blood, loves John Deere tractors, but he has a soft spot for the occasional Ford.
The 501 Ford Workmaster I bought down in Moultrie, and it was all two pieces. Somebody had started rebuilding the motor and it tore up. And so the man that was rebuilding it just cured it and had it sold, and I bought it in just pieces and put it back together and brought it home and painted it and fixed it like this, drove it down the driveway, and the motor come and tore up again where they half patched it, and so we got to rebuild the motor twice. But it was not tall like this when I bought it, and I bought a Ferguson, had these taller wheels on it for just parts, and the Ferguson Ford has the same type rims on the back. And so then your front axle, you can flip it and get the height like that. So that's the way I come up with making it the high crop. Well, it's not original, but they did build one just like it. It's a good tractor, runs good and drives good. It's a little hard to get on. I need to put me a step on it. It's kind of hard to get up on it. I've done everything on it other than paint the fenders and the hood on it, and I let a body shop do that for me. But far as mechanical, rebuilding the motor and painting everything on the bottom part, I do it. Most of the time they grow like produce, anything that's taller. That most of your high crop tractors come from down around Florida and stuff where they grow sugar cane and stuff like that. Right in this area, we did not farm with high crop tractors. there's not many one-row Ford tractors around in this area. You know, I don't know of nobody else had one.
Stick with us, folks. Coming up, you're not going to want to miss our feature item on the show today. It's a 2018 Case IH TigerMate 255 field cultivator, 25.5 foot.
Machinery Pete TV, brought to you by Corvus Corn Herbicide from Bayer. Get an early season win against weeds with Corvus for end of season rewards.
Well, folks, time for a feature item on the sale today. This 2018 Case IH TigerMate 255 25.5 foot field cultivator. Now, Case IH just started making this thing in 2017, this particular model. And honestly, I have not seen one sold at auction yet. Now, I did look this morning on machinerypete.com and I saw 45 for sale by dealers, but on the 2018 models, they all said call for price. So it's time to find out what this thing is really worth.
15 pound, a bit of 17 pie, a bit of here to go 17 pie, 15 now 17 pie, a bit of here to go 17 pie. I have 15,000, take 17,500. That's 16, now 17, now 17, or negative 17,000. I have 16 here, now 17. Yep, 16 here to the pan, to 17. 16 here to the pan, a bit of 17 pound dollar bill. 16 here to the pan, a bit of 17. 16 here to the pan, a bit of 17,000. I'm here to the 17, a bit of 17. 16 here to the pan, a bit of 17,000. I 16, 17, 18. Now 18, Bruce going to be team of 18,000. 18, they're going to be team of 18, $18,000 bill. I 17, and we team, they're going to be team of 18, 18, and 19, of 19, 20. Down 20, 20. I need $20,000 bill. I'm 22, 20. Yep, 21. Down 1, a bit of one here, 2. Down 2 to be good of 2, 22 pound, 2 to be good of 2. Yep, 2 to be good of 2. We're not even half priced yet. What this unit costs new. 21, 22,000. On 2, 3. Down 3, down 3. I design down 3. Yep, 2 to be around 3. 2 to be around 3 to be around $23,000 bill. I have 22 around 3 to be around 3. Doesn't even have the paint off the shanks. 23,000. 22 down 3. Yep, 22 around 3 to be around 3. 22 down 3 and 22. I'll take 5. 22,500. 22 down 5. 1 5 to be around here. 22,500 on the phone with Bruce. 22 pi to bit of here, 22 pi to bit of here, 22 pi, 22,500 I have, 22,500 here I have. Sold the unit for $22,000. Put them on buy number 68.
Well, folks, this was one of those items coming in with hardly any comps on it, so it was hard to know what it was going to bring. But our feature item, the 2018 Case IH TigerMate 255 field cultivator, 25.5 foot, sells for $22,000. I think it was maybe heard a little bit, like owner Mike Murphy was saying, there was a company recall on this thing for the nylon bushings. Well, you know, folks, as 2019 draws to a close here, it gives me pause. It was 30 years ago, 1989, that I started compiling auction sale prices. And I remember at the time, I was a 23-year-old kid, there was a definite, clear feeling that 30-ish-year-old tractors were antiques. I mean, they just were. 1950s models, we all thought of them as antiques. Well, I wrote a blog over the Christmas holiday that got a lot of discussion going. And I went back to our old auction price books from 1989, and I made a list of the 20 highest auction prices on the 30-ish-year-old tractors back then. And here's that list. So you can see basically for $2,000 to $3,000 you could buy the nicest 30-year-old tractor anywhere, with $3,600 being the top of the heap for that John Deere 630 sold September '89 in west central Minnesota, back where I grew up. So they were antiques, but today 30-year-old tractors definitely not antiques. I mean, John Deere 55 series Case IH Magnums, they're just not antiques. Now here's a list from 2019 of the highest auction prices on 30-ish-year-old tractors. And you can see top of the list here, that 1989 John Deere 4955 with 2,225 hours on it. Sold February 23rd out in St. Mary's, Ohio, brought $71,000. Now, looking forward, I think you'd agree with me, folks. These tractors are not antiques now, and I don't foresee them being considered antiques anytime in the near future. Well, folks, how fun was that to watch this International 720 plow restored sell for $3,000 on the sale today? I think it was the hottest selling item on the sale. Always great fun to catch up with my friends Mark Younger and his great team. And thanks for watching the show today, folks. We'll see you back here next week. Machinery Pete thanks these premier sponsors for their support. Sullivan Auctioneers. Let our team of professionals show you how to make your auction a success. Visit sullivanauctioneers.com.